new live edition of Talking Ball on a Monday, February 27th, as we get you started on a Monday. 256-576-4977. That's the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. And while it might feel, the calendar says February,
it don't feel like
it. It does not feel like it. So I guess it's only fitting that the Auburn Tigers kick off spring practice today. It feels like spring today.
70 degrees, or it's supposed to be, or somewhere around there. Most of the week.
Does not feel like it is still February, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. I got flowers growing in the front yard.
Wow.
Things are coming. Well, it's warm.
I had something that looked like pollen or something on my windshield.
I wouldn't doubt it. But anyway.
At least it wasn't frozen.
That's true. And the Auburn Tigers getting ready to usher in the Hugh Freeze era today. 30-plus newcomers on that Auburn roster.
Right.
So Hugh Freeze will meet the media later today. Make sure you check with our YouTube page. We'll have that for you later. But I just realized, too, that it's the end of an era down there at Auburn. Not only it's the beginning of the Hugh Freeze era.
That's correct.
But it's the end of the Carlson era. Because for the first time in, I don't know.
A decade?
9
I don't know. It's about 10, I guess.
Yeah, there will be no Carlson kicking the football. McPherson era.
Yeah.
Now taking over.
And we saw a little bit of McPherson, not that last year as much, but a little bit. But then the year when Anders tore his ACL, we saw Auburn had to go to a walk-on. So we've seen some other kickers, but we saw a little bit of McPherson last year when Anders had a couple of issues. I think he was a little slow coming back from the knee, and then he missed a couple of kicks. And McPherson, of course, started handling a little bit of that. But Daniel and Anders had a great run there from Colorado to Auburn, and they grew up Bama fans. So write a book about that. Hey, Joseph Goodman, write a book about that instead of the BS you've been spewing in your columns. Nice job, though, clown.
256-576-4977. That's how we get you going again. It's the kickoff of spring football for the Auburn Tigers today on a very rather warm February. All right, plenty of stuff happening from over the weekend as well, and plenty of reaction to a lot of things from just one basketball game. And Nate Oates lets us know what happened right out of the gates.
So before I get started on the game, it was brought to my attention after the game about our pregame introductions. I think that's something that's been going on all year. I don't really know. I don't watch our introductions. I'm not involved with them. I'm drawing up plays during that time. Regardless, it's not appropriate. It's been addressed, and I can assure you it definitely will not happen again the remainder of this year. So
that was Nate Oates just making reference to the Brandon Miller pat down there during the pregame warm-ups.
No doubt. I didn't see it. I wasn't watching pregame warm-ups. I barely ever do. Probably was happening all year. Bad look, no question about it. They should have changed it up. But it hadn't been a story up to this point, and interesting thing about it is that I'm sure they were still doing it after the tragedy where, and that's what this is. The death of Jemiah Harris is a complete tragedy. After Darius Miles was booted off the team and they had arrested him and Michael Davis, I definitely think that they were still doing it, and nobody said a word. They're saying a word now because it's Brandon Miller and he's averaging 20 points per game. It is what it is, but it's definitely needs to be changed. Ripping Nate Oates incessantly about it and saying, I just heard the czar with his bloviating, and that's what he was doing. Don't give a damn. But anyway, he wouldn't know a basketball from a volleyball. But he's piling on like everybody else is about this thing. And again, Nate Oates is worried about the game. He's not. I can almost assure you. Oh yeah, Tom. He's supposed to be over there watching his team warm up. He's not in the huddle with his assistant coaches. His assistant coaches have been breaking down 15 hours of film and breaking down every little nuance of Arkansas Razorbacks. They're all worried about. If you're worried about effing, warm ups, then you're not going to win basketball games. Okay. Period. End of story. So, again, Tom's ripped me on his show. His ass is getting ripped now, okay? And some of the rest of these media people, too. It's total bull crap. I mean, it's a bad look. They definitely got to change it. No question about that. But, to me, it's something else just to pile on Nate Oates. I mean, come on, man. I mean, give me a break here. Because, and again, I don't watch the warm-ups. I just found it very interesting that all of a sudden that becomes the story. And if they're saying it's happened all year, why haven't you been saying anything all year? Because Darius Miles is a member of the basketball team. Why aren't you saying, why are they doing that after this tragedy? I mean, they're doing anything and every little thing to discredit Alabama. And Alabama certainly, again, that has to be changed. Nate Oates made some unfortunate comments that he's definitely received heat for, and he apologized.
Right.
But he doesn't deserve to be fired. And Brandon Miller, thanks to the evidence and the law enforcement and what they decided, does not deserve to be suspended.
Do you think if Nate Oates just would have said, hey, we've addressed this situation, it's been taken care of, rather than say, I don't watch the warm-ups?
I mean, I don't know. They're gonna nitpick every little thing, man. Okay,
I know.
It's gonna be, even if he just said, he was just trying to. What Nate Oates is trying to do, at least he's being honest. Okay, He's saying I haven't been watching warm-ups, and I totally believe that. He's worried about coaching his team. I heard the Czar just say, well, that's BS. He watches warm-ups. Like you know what he's watching, Tom. How many Alabama basketball games you watched? Maybe a half of one? Go watch the XFL and go watch the freaking USFL when it comes on, bro. Stay in your lane.
As far as the game itself, Alabama fortunate enough to get a win, and Nate Oates does and did talk about that.
As far as the basketball stuff goes, look, we didn't have a great start. This 2 games in a row. I don't think we played our best basketball. The beginning of the game, obviously we struggled. We didn't score for the first few minutes. We down 9 at the half, down 11. I thought we made some decent adjustments in the second half. I think Quinterly was able to get in the paint, create offense for us. He ends up with 7 assists. Thought he played really well. It's nice to have depth, that you can go to different options. We've needed different guys step up different games. I thought he was a big one this game. And we've got to learn how to close games better too. I think they scored 20 points in the last 2.5 minutes or so. So you can give Arkansas a ton of credit. They're a talented team. Nick Smith's obviously really talented. They never quit on it. They got down. They hung in there. They gave themselves a chance there in the last 30 seconds. And, give our guys a lot of credit after being down 9 at the half, coming out, playing as hard as they did in the second half.
So there's Nate Oates talking about the game itself, and for the 4th time since Arkansas joined the SEC, Alabama does get the season sweep over the Hogs.
Well, and I'll just say this, Scott. I'm actually there. I actually cover as many games as possible, and I was on press row. It was an electric crowd. It was 30 more NBA scouts, and I expected that with Arkansas and who they've got.
No.
Now, especially now that Nick Smith Jr. is back. They would have had a lot there anyways because of Anthony Black. But I'll just be honest, and this is the eye test, because, and again, I haven't seen Tennessee up close because they didn't come to Alabama this year, okay? But I've seen Arkansas now. I'll see Auburn on Wednesday, but I don't think Auburn. As a matter of fact, I know they don't. They don't have an Anthony Black or a Nick Smith this year. Now, they had people last year that would have packed it. You know, and Jabari Smith actually really was the reason Auburn, I think he had 25. I mean, he balled out, and Auburn won a close one, I think 82-79 in Tuscaloosa. He was tremendous. But they don't have that kind of time. Now, Kentucky, there was a lot of people there because of Shebway and because of Wallace and some of the guys they have. But I watched that game, is what I'm telling you. After watching Nick Smith be with that team, okay, and watching everybody, all the other opponents that I've seen Alabama play, including Mississippi State, who's playing great right now, and nearly beat Alabama just like Arkansas. That's the two teams that have played Alabama close in Coleman Coliseum. I think, and I'm just talking about, basketball is an interesting sport because it's a marathon, not a sprint. A lot of time it's how you're playing at the end, right? If you get your chemistry right, if you're healthy and whatnot. I think Alabama and Arkansas are the two best teams, with Nick Smith being there. I mean, the first half, they really controlled Alabama. Alabama was actually fortunate not to be down double digits. It was 37-28 at halftime. Now, to Alabama's credit, they came out punching in the second half. And it was interesting. And you went over it, I'm sure, on Zone Center. But Alabama couldn't make threes. I mean, they had wide open looks too. I mean, we're talking about open looks. They just couldn't draw. They didn't drop. But what they did do,
13.6%.
Correct.
The lowest since its season opener against Longwood when Alabama shot 10%, 3 of 28.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was just not good. But Alabama, I will say this. They only shot 22. And when I say only 22, this is a team a lot of times it takes 30 to 35, sometimes 43s. I thought they continued to drive it, though, and when they realized that it's kind of like what Eric Musselman said after the game. He said, you have to take something away. And they wanted to take the threes away, so Alabama continued to drive it hard. And I thought personally that it was the best game I've seen Javon Quinterly play. I thought he made the right reads the entire game. He got by his man the entire game, was able to finish at the rim. And you know how we always talk about getting over knee injuries and recovering your quickness and everything?
Yeah.
He looked like the old Javon Quinterly. I'm talking about from 2 years ago, where, he could get by people. He was MVP of the SEC tournament as a sixth man. He was the key, and he made the biggest shot of the game. Arkansas, this is still definitely a game. There's about a little over a minute and a half to go or something, and he makes a three from the corner, only the third three of the game, but it made it 78-70. It was 75-70 at that point. It was basically a two-possession game, and he made a huge three to extend it, and Alabama needed all them points because you saw how it ended. Nato's just mentioned the 20 points. Arkansas with Nick Smith is a definite problem, and he showed why all these scouts are there and why everybody – and remember, he's only started, I think that was the 7th game.
Right.
So he hasn't been around that long. So this makes Arkansas extremely dangerous down the stretch because you've got dudes, not just black and because look, think about this. Now they've got Ricky Council in his 6-man role that he had at Wichita State, and he had over 20 off the bench. Debo Davis had 20. Alabama took Arkansas's best shot. I mean, Arkansas got 3 20-point scorers and still lost the game.
They're the first team to score over 70 points on Alabama this season. No other team had done that. And
they scored 83.
Yeah. I should say SEC team.
No. I get exactly what you're saying.
The first SEC team to surpass the 70-point mark against Alabama. And you look at it, there's only 2 or 3 games left in the regular season. So, I mean, that came pretty late in the year. So, great defensive effort all year so far by Alabama.
I just thought it was a really high-level second half because, again, Alabama scored over 60 points, and Arkansas was down double digits, but yet Arkansas kept swinging and still took it a three-pointer, in the last 2 seconds would have tied it, okay, because they had possession. The one thing that Arkansas did poorly the second half, Scott, and Eric Musselman mentioned this the first thing in his comments, is they missed free throws.
Alabama shot 88%, or 83, my bad, from the line, 25 of 30. All right, got to get our first break in. When we come back, we will recap what was not a pleasant trip for Auburn to Lexington. We'll recap that one when we come back.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Just got a wreck at Capshaw in Menifee. That's actually east of Menifee. That one's coming in as a no injury. Got a trooper on the way for it. Everything else looking good this morning. I don't see any other snags. We are dealing with a heavy traffic load, though. D&L Refrigeration repairs heating and air conditioning units for homes and businesses. D&L 256-652-1207. State license 08091. Captain Eck in the North Parkway, Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Using your phone should never have to be a luxury. Walmart Family Mobile now offers free or discounted plans through the Affordable Connectivity Program. ACP is a government program that helps eligible Americans have access to wireless service. You could get unlimited talk, text, and 8 gigabytes of high-speed data for free when you qualify. Apply now at myfamilymobile.com/ACP. Walmart Family Mobile is supported by the Affordable Connectivity Program and Lifeline government assistance programs. Please visit myfamilymobile.com/ACP for more information.
This is Wes Neighbors with Philip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. We're still a place to call for your insulation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on two services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatewitheagle.com and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
Gunner's Landing is one of the Tennessee Valley's finest golf experiences. Just 35 minutes from downtown Huntsville, Gunner's Landing's 18-hole championship jewel is open to the public 7 days a week. Located in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, Gunner's Landing offers you a golf experience like no other. With beautiful Lake Gunnersville views throughout the round, Gunner's Landing is golf the way nature intended. Gunner's Landing's Club Repair Shop offers a full range of services, including re-gripping and adjusting the lofts and lies of your clubs, even putters. Since the work is done in-house, your clubs will be returned to you in a timely manner, unmatched in the North Alabama area. It is Gunner's Landing. Schedule your tee time today at gunnerslandinggolf.com. That's gunnerslandinggolf.com.
The Huntsville Sports Commission is responsible for bringing high-level sports entertainment to the Rocket City. In 2023, enjoy events like the CCSA Beach Volleyball Championships, Hometown Lenders Championship, UCI Paracycling Road World Cup, and so much more. To learn more about upcoming events and the Huntsville Sports Commission, visit huntsvillesports.com. The Huntsville Sports Commission. We do sports. Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com. Suffering from emotional pain and mental health conditions? Intensive Outpatient Programs, or IOP, is a rich addition to your continued individual therapy. Group members realize they're not alone and that others have similar difficulties. Hearing and sharing different ways to think and cope can be encouraging, empowering, and promote healing. In most cases, treatment is covered by insurance and no doctor referral is needed. Virtual IOP sessions available. Take your first step to wellness by calling 205-999-5247 or log on IOPServicesLLC.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you. And so the Alabama Crimson Tide, they get a win at home Saturday against Arkansas. It's the Auburn Tigers going on the road on Saturday, and we mentioned that Auburn probably needs to win one of their 3.
Yeah.
The bad thing is, though, and Bruce Pearl kind of alluded to it in his post-game press conference after the loss. Here is Bruce Pearl after the loss to Kentucky.
It was got beaten every facet of the game. We weren't competitive. We were obviously ready to play because we played well early. But from the last 4 minutes of the first half all the way through the second half, very, very poor performance, a very, very poor effort. And I apologize to our fans, for such a letdown.
Bruce Pearl would go on to say that the loss would be one thing, but the way they lost and how they lost with an 86-54 setback, not good in the eyes of the committee.
Oh, no, it wasn't. I was tracking that game while I was following Alabama and tweeting for 97.7 The Zone, and I'll be honest, the last update I had seen, I think it was like 26-25 Kentucky, so that was before Auburn hit the skids in the first half. I thought Auburn was going to play them a tough game, and then I checked it in the second half, and I was like, things have dramatically turned for Auburn, and it just puts more pressure on them because now they have two extremely difficult games to finish the regular season, Scott, and you're talking about Alabama on the road and then Tennessee at home, two of the top 4 teams in the SEC. We said it last week on the show, and I'll say it again, and I was on a show this morning in another part of our state, and they were asking me how many teams that I think would get in. I said for sure 6. I feel really good about 6 right now. I feel really good about Alabama, of course, A&M, Kentucky, Tennessee, Missouri after that rout at Georgia. I think Missouri helped themselves exponentially, getting a 9th win to at least go 500 with a chance to get a 10th victory. And then Arkansas after what I told you I saw Saturday. I just think Arkansas with Nick Smith, that's going to matter to the committee. I think Arkansas is in solid shape. So what it comes down to, that's 6. It comes down to Auburn and Mississippi State. And I think Mississippi State right now is playing better than Auburn. I think they have a legit shot to get here. Now, they don't have a ton of margin for error, okay? But that A&M win for them was exponentially big at the hump, 69-62. Now they go on the road, I believe, to South Kakalaki. I think that's on the road. Yeah. And that they've got to have that win. They can't do what Vandy did. Now, because we talked about Vandy having a dark horse shot, and then Vandy gagged against LSU.
That win for Vanderbilt against Auburn is now really big.
That's a great point. That's
Auburn
big.
falls, I believe, to 7th in the SEC standings because Vanderbilt gets the tiebreaker over Auburn. And so that's
a great point.
While it may not give them the tournament because of the loss before it, it gives them a better seed.
It doesn't give them the NCAA tournament, Vandy. But you're right. It's a bad loss now that Vandy just absolutely played terribly and lost in Baton Rouge. Because Vandy's still 9-7 in the league. That's what makes this coming up schedule so interesting. Because Vanderbilt, Vanderbilt's got Kentucky left, and then they play. This could be a very, very interesting final game, Scott. They play at Nashville on Tuesday,
right?
I believe, and this is excuse me. I'm sorry. Let me correct myself here. This is on Saturday. It'll be Saturday the 4th. Mississippi State at home.
Right.
So, to me, it's big. That's a huge day for Auburn and Mississippi State because Vandy's out. We know that. But Vandy could play spoiler again like they kind of have with Auburn with that last-second, 2-point win. And so I believe it was 67-65. And so you look at this with Mississippi State. I think Mississippi State is going to beat South Carolina. If you had to ask me the way they're playing, and the way – that Mississippi State has, I think down the stretch they played some of the best basketball in the conference. We've heard Joey Brackett say, that they were most definitely, playing really good basketball, had them in. And let me correct myself too. They're at the hump against South Carolina. I'm sorry about that. They are on the road at Vanderbilt, which we got that correct.
Yeah.
But I don't care where it is, whether it was on a neutral floor or at South Carolina or at Mississippi State. I think the Bulldogs are going to win, but they have to. If they lose to South Carolina, it's over for them. But what I'm saying is, if Alabama takes care of Auburn, which I think they will, and then if Mississippi State takes care of South Carolina, to me that Saturday is huge.
Yeah,
because you're going to have Mississippi State on the road at Vanderbilt, Auburn at home against Tennessee. The SEC could still theoretically get 8 teams in. If both of them win, I think they can get 8, but I think if only one does, then I think you're talking about 7 bids. I think they got 6, but the 7th and 8th bids are going to be Auburn and Mississippi State, and both could get in. Both could fall by the wayside, but I think at least one of them will get in my opinion.
Well, there's a game tomorrow night that doesn't have any tournament implications except for the SEC tournament.
Right.
And that is Florida traveling to Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia's 6-10 right now in the SEC play. Florida's 7-9.
Yeah.
So if Georgia somehow finds a way to get a win over Florida, it would be a season sweep for the Bulldogs over the Gators.
Yes.
Florida would be the fourth team as of last. If they get a win, Florida would be one of the four teams to have to play on the first day. LSU, South Carolina, and Ole Miss are already secured. And Ole Miss, by the way, says bye-bye to Kermit Davis.
And then they win.
And then he retweets that they're happy. He's happy for the win. Just class guy. Just fell on some bad times this year.
Yeah.
But Ole Miss says bye to Kermit Davis, so he will be replaced. And you know who I heard as a name mentioned for the Ole Miss job.
Can you believe Western Union is coming up for jobs and he's telling everybody he pays more than the G League? That shows you what NIL has done. Because if there wasn't for NIL, this scumbag, there's no way his name would be coming up for jobs.
And that would be one Will Wade.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way. I mean, why else would you? Because you just got fired for cheating your rear end. I know he won the SEC regular season championship with the highest paid roster in the league at LSU.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, it just goes to show you the climate right now. Because Will Wade, I mean, there's not a bigger cheat in coaching.
You would figure 10 years ago Will Wade would be so toxic that nobody would touch him. Nobody.
I mean, what he would be doing is coaching junior college ball with Billy Clyde Gillespie. And I think Billy Clyde finally worked his way up to some Tarleton State or something. But
is he?
I don't know. I just know that I think he finally got out of the Texas JUCOs. But and Billy Clyde didn't even get caught cheating. Like, he just was a colossal failure at Kentucky, and then went to Texas Tech and couldn't win. So, I mean, but it wasn't really.
Yeah, you're right. Tarleton State.
I thought somebody told me he was at Tarleton State, but,
So he was at Texas Tech from 11 to 12 and then went to Ranger College.
There you go, Ranger.
For 5 years.
Yeah.
5 years at Ranger College, and now he's at Tarleton State, which I believe is Division II.
Is it? Okay.
I think so.
All right.
So.
I wasn't sure.
I don't know. I don't. I'll have to find out.
Yeah.
But here's what we will do. It's in Texas, I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah, I figured that. That's his state there.
We got to get a break in. Actually, no, I believe it is Division I.
I think it is. I want to say, I thought it was.
Yeah, because they take on Sam Houston, Boston.
It's one of those one bid leagues, man.
Yeah, Dallas Christian College, I believe it is. All right, let's get a break in. When we come back, continue the conversation and get your phone calls, 256-576-4977.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Monday, a wind advisory is in effect. It'll stay in effect until 6 o'clock this evening. We'll see a few scattered showers, mainly in the morning. A mostly cloudy start to the day, gradually becoming sunny by the afternoon. High temperatures expected to top out in the mid-70s. Heading into your Monday night, a few isolated showers possible before midnight. A mostly clear sky. Low temperatures expected to fall into the mid and upper 40s. We could see wind gusts as high as 40 miles per hour. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a couple of wrecks reported now. Just got one Maston Lake east of Jordan. They had Himsey on the way, but they've canceled them. And we got Capshaw east of Menifee. That one reported as a no injury. And apparently got a power line down. They're reporting it on Addison Park. Addison Park runs between the Research Park Access Road and Plummer Road. Through the end of the month, you can join by the day at the Y. The earlier you join, the less you pay. The YMCA, Madison and Huntsville, with special military rates, free child care, and never a contract. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Did you know that Valley Equipment Rental also specializes in day and weekend rentals to homeowners? The weekend rentals is by far the best deal that they offer. If you pick up after 2 on a Friday or anytime Saturday morning, it's not due in until Monday morning before 8 a.m. for a one-day charge. For a small fee, Valley can even haul anything they carry. Valley has extremely experienced and knowledgeable staff that can help you decide what size machine you need or what type of machine you need to get your job done like a pro. They have all the big items that the contractors need for their jobs, but they also carry the small tools that can help you with your DIY project. More importantly, Valley is locally owned and operated, which means when you have an issue, you can get someone on it right away, right here in the Valley. Heck, ask for Ross Roberts, the owner, if you like. Try calling one of the big box national outlets and ask for the owner. That's if you can even get through the automation. Buy local. Buy Valley Equipment Rental. Valley Equipment Rental has 2 locations, one on the North and South Parkway. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
The college basketball regular season is winding down, and the football specials at Humphrey's Bar and Grill are now going to extend into basketball season with football specials during every Auburn and Alabama basketball games. Don't miss Humphrey's game day specials from $2.75 Miller Lite, Yingling, Coors Light pints, $3.50 Yellowhammer Gold pints. Anytime Auburn or Alabama is on the screen, Humphrey's, always a party, never a cover. Located online at humphreysdowntown.com.
Tom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
As we turn that corner into February, Valentine's Day just around the corner. If you want to make sure that Valentine's Day dinner stays nice and toasty, give Talent Heating and Air a call. Thomas, you got everything to make sure that Valentine's Day goes smooth.
Yeah, if you're trying to turn up the heat this Valentine's Day, we've got the special for you. $1,000 off and you keep your Valentine warm.
That's Talent Heating and Air's Valentine's Day special. Let them know where you can call.
Yeah, you can call us at 256-503-4490.
Talent Heating and Air, making sure everything stays rosy on Valentine's Day.
Are you looking for a quality job? Well, the University of Alabama in Huntsville is having a career fair for custodians, technicians, and maintenance and landscaping professionals to join their UAH facilities team. You can enjoy a good work-life balance on a beautiful campus, excellent benefits, training opportunities, and a respectful team atmosphere. Visit our career fair on Wednesday, March 1st from 3 to 6 p.m. in Morton Hall at 1310 Ben Graves Drive on the UAH campus, or apply at uah.edu today.
Welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN Zone. Monday morning, 256-576-4977. Number to the show if you want to be a part of it. And that's where we'll go. Richard with us this morning on a Monday. Good morning, Richard.
What's up, Richard?
Morning, guys. Hey, one thing on the pregame warm-up, they've done it all year. I mean, I've been there to every game.
Yeah, there you go. So
Yeah,
you may have watched it. I haven't.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it lasts all of 2 seconds. So, I mean, we ought to blame Adam Cottrell, and you had Nick Saban sitting there on the front row, Justin Thomas, and Greg Byrne. Maybe we can blame all of them also.
Yeah,
So,
of course.
Yeah, I mean, it
got a lot of
I'm sure
ambulance
people were
chasers out there.
Yeah, I'm sure they were watching for it. Like I said, everybody in the stands just like it was just normal thing, and it lasts all of 2 seconds
Yep.
out. But I agree on the Arkansas game. That was like an NCAA tournament game.
No,
I mean,
without a doubt.
with
Yeah.
the talent those guys had out there. I mean, with Nick Smith, they're a totally different team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just really a little bit of lack of depth, and I guess that hurts them. Because Musselman doesn't want to go to the bench at all.
No, he doesn't. Like, for
Yeah.
example, Barry Dunning, he has not played all year. I mean, he's played like maybe he's averaging 0.1 points. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's in the transfer portal because they won't play him any.
Well, one thing is, you had your guy from Huntsville down at UAB, but really, I guess last year's senior class, and I guess you could call Shaver, a senior. I guess he played a half a year or whatever, but maybe at a smaller school, but nobody's doing much, upper D1, from the state of Alabama last year that I know of.
Yeah, there's not. And Shaver actually didn't even play, Richard. He decided he was going to just move on and graduate. So I don't even think he was on the floor. So he knew he was going to go to UNC and red shirt. So, yeah, I mean, you're right. It wasn't the most talented senior class. Butta Johnson was probably the best player. He's at UAB. So there just wasn't a lot. And Dunning and Butta. But Dunning has not played much at Arkansas. No. I still think he'll end up being at a mid-major like South Alabama back home or something and have a career. But it doesn't look like to me that he's an SEC guy right now.
Well, one thing you were talking about Auburn and Mississippi State, one thing you have to take into account is it may not be what they do, but what everybody else does.
True. That's also a good point.
Yeah, because I think Auburn is in. State's a little iffy, but both are in. And wins, of course, will lock it down. But usually at this time of the year, a lot of these teams on the bubble all lose.
Mm-hmm.
And the better teams win. And so, nothing changes. Like Alabama back in the Avery years, we were on the bubble up until the last loss usually.
Oh.
Now you're just kind of scratching your head. We lose 4 in a row, and you're still on the bubble, and you're going, how? Everybody else was everybody else was losing too.
No, you're right about that. I do think they can both get in, no question about it. I think they both need to win. I think Auburn needs to split, and I think State needs to win both games before Nashville. I think State can win both those games. Certainly at home against South Carolina, and then you see them going to Vandy. Now, going to Vandy is not easy, and I'm sure Vandy is going to continue to play hard. But Mississippi State showed me a lot going to Arkansas and winning, even though Nick Smith was just returning to the lineup. Yeah. And then them beating Texas A&M was significant, I thought.
Yeah, because we listened to it on the way coming back after the Bama game, and they kind of the last 2 or 3 minutes they pretty much dominated the game. Out against A&M's playing as good a ball as anybody in the nation right now.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I'll just say this: I've been to most of the Alabama SEC home games, and you've been to every home game.
Yeah.
There are 2 tough games were Arkansas and Mississippi State, and I thought Arkansas with Nick Smith was better than with Ben State, but both of them have really good teams.
Yeah, but like I said, getting down to the kind of the good time of the year here.
No doubt, Richard.
Yep. All right, Richard.
Thank you.
Thanks
See
for
you
the
guys
phone.
later.
All right, 256-576-4977. That's the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. And just a quick recap, the UAH Chargers on Saturday get it done over Valdosta State, 93-81. They are the Gulf South Conference regular season champions. They will be at home tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, taking on Mississippi College in quarterfinal action of the Gulf South Conference tournament. They are the number 1 seed, Mississippi College, the 8th seed.
And Mississippi College, we've talked about that, man.
Yep,
they played them tough a couple times, but beat them bad over there, and then it was a tough game at UH Spraggins.
So, but we're going to have talk to Coach Schulman, and we really need to talk to Coach Schulman because I don't know if he did some gamesmanship with us or if he was really trying to just, I don't know what he was trying to do because he told us C.J. Williamson was going to play.
Yeah.
And he was going to have to work him in the lineup, and he was going to come off the bench.
He moved around and practiced and looked as good as he looked in a month.
Yep. C.J. hasn't played in 2 games that he told us he was going to play. So
now, I don't know. I pray he didn't have a setback or something like that.
I hope not.
Because I know because he did say to us a couple weeks ago that when he was trying to come back that he did tweak something. Remember?
Yeah, he did.
He did say that.
He did. So I don't know. But
I don't know if he went to the Big Chief or something. We don't know.
And I have no reason to go to Jacksonville State anymore. I mean, we've got to find a way somehow.
The Gamecock season isn't over yet, is it? Or did it end on Saturday, the regular season?
But there's look, I will drive for food, but I'm not driving that far to spend $12 and get a burger.
Right.
And a shake and fries. That's how much it costs. All right. Jay is with us from Athens. Good morning, Jay.
Good morning, Jay.
Good morning, guys. How are y'all?
We're doing good, sir.
Hey, Drew, it just seemed like, since Jaden Bradley, his name's come up and all this Brandon Miller stuff, just seemed like his production, his play on the floor has kind of dwindled a little bit. Do you think that's the reason why Nate started him in in the second half, started JQ in the second half?
No, I just think if you watch the flow of the game, and this is the beautiful thing about this ball club, is that you could tell JQ had some juice. And I thought he made the right reads. I know he didn't make every shot he took, but I thought the drives, he made the right decisions. The passes, he made the right reads. Guys didn't make threes, didn't always make the shot. But I thought he looked like his old self. I thought he was locked in, no question about it. I think Bradley was struggling a little bit with the physicality of Arkansas and the size in their backcourt. Because Bradley's had some strong games. If I remember correctly, he was even in double figures when they lost at Tennessee. But they just didn't. They didn't win as a team, and JQ didn't play as well in that game. The beauty with this team and the depth is, Jay, is like, for example, Rylan Griffin. I think he only had one layup. He had a big layup late. And then Sears scored most of his points from the line. But they have so much depth in the backcourt. If you figure out, okay, and there's been other games in the last 2 or 3 weeks where, like at Auburn, where you figured out Rylan Griffin's hot. So you leave Rylan Griffin in the game, and he ends up with 16, leads the team in scoring, and they beat Auburn. You just kind of have to go with the hot hand a little bit. It's a guards game, but luckily Alabama has a lot of depth there. And even though he only played for both these guys, if you look at the stat sheet, and I was looking at it on Saturday after the game, Jay, both of them were only on the floor not even 7 minutes apiece. But when you look at what Dom Welch and Nick Pringle did, both of them had 7 points. Dom, had a big three early, only three for a while, scored 7. And I thought when Pringle came back in, when Charles Bediako got in foul trouble, I thought his baskets were huge and the energy that he played with. He got the and one and another dunk, and I thought that helped keep Arkansas at bay.
Yeah, Nick's really come on, and I love watching him play because he's playing with aggression in there.
Oh, he is. There's no doubt.
And my train of thought. Golly, I had something else I was going to say and I forgot. How do you see them playing in the SEC tournament?
Well, I mean, they got to finish the regular season, man. They got 2 tough games left. You got to beat your rival to win the SEC outright regular season title. Then you got a tough trip to Reed Arena. Now, I think A&M's in. I think they're good. Yeah. This time, I don't think they're going to be playing in desperate, like, okay, we got to have this game to, get into the NCAA tournament. But at the same time, I think A&M is still going to be playing hard. And so you want to win as many games as you can. Right now, what Alabama's trying to do, you're trying to do a couple things. You're trying to win the regular season SEC championship, and you're trying to get a 1 seed. Your program has never done that. It's right there in front of you. And right now, some people have them the overall number 1. So you're playing for a lot, no doubt about it. And certainly Auburn's going to come out strong because they know they've got to win to get in. So you need to take care of that. And then with Arkansas, you understand in the SEC tournament they're going to be to deal with Nick Smith, no doubt about it. And then A&M, that's going to be a tough road trip because A&M, they're still wanting to get the 2 seed. That's still not 100% done yet. So they've got to win one more game to get that done. And if they do, then they're going to be fine. And they should get that win at Ole Miss. Should. But you never know when you have a coaching change because as Scott said earlier when we started the show, Ole Miss got to win on Saturday after they fired Kermit Davis.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if they try to get Andy Kennedy back just because of how successful he was down there. But y'all guys have a great rest of the day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you, Jay. You know what, though? And Jay asked the question, what are they going to do come tournament time? It all depends on matchups, too.
Yeah, it's a matchup
if you're Alabama, I don't know if you want to see Kentucky.
You talking about in Nashville?
In Nashville.
I don't think they will because Kentucky right now, you look at the standings, Scott. Kentucky beat Tennessee twice. So they've already got that tiebreaker.
But if Alabama gets to the championship, Kentucky, they could meet
Kentucky.
I mean,
but it would be a championship game type thing. It wouldn't be like what Alabama's problem's been in the last several years.
First game or second game.
First or second, usually second. Yeah. Usually you win one game, then Kentucky's sitting there with Doug Shows and the rest of the turds, and you're gonna have 6 fouls in the first 3 minutes because you breathe on Sheboy, they're gonna call a foul, and then if he runs straight over one of your guys, guys, all of a sudden cataracts are on there, and it's a block, and then and Kentucky's off to the races. And of course 80% of the crowd is Kentucky fans.
And
so
you would get them on the other side of the bracket,
right?
But
So you would get actually right now you would get Kentucky and Texas A&M on the other side, but you would have Tennessee potentially in a semifinal.
Well, right now, I mean, if you look at it,
Right.
because you're going to get a double bye.
Yeah,
you're going to get the double bye.
You are.
Texas A&M right now going to get that double bye.
Mm-hmm.
That's good there. All right, I know we got Johnny on his cell, but let's get a break in real fast. Johnny, hold tight, and we'll get to you in 2 minutes.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Just got a wreck reported in Morgan County, Taylor Circle and Ironman. I think it's a no injury. Maston Lake east of Jordan reported with injury, but they've canceled Himsey on it. And we had Capshaw east of Menifee that was waiting on a trooper. Snelling has a contract accounting position. It's a 2 or 3 month assignment. Needs a degree and experience. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
The best place to get 50s diner-style homemade delectables is Bubby's Diner. Located at 8412 Whitesburg Drive Southeast, try their all-new expanded breakfast menu with homemade waffles, omelets, and shrimp and grits. With 3 generations of experience, Chris Bubby Belcher has the best burgers in town. Don't forget to leave without a homemade pie or a hand-spun milkshake. Give Bubby's a call today at 256-513-8080. Bubby's Diner, home of the donut burger.
The crimson and white jerseys.
Front court to the rack and the flood.
The sound of a buzzer beater.
Got it to go as the buzzer sounds.
The Roll Tide chant from the crowd. It can only be Alabama basketball. Join the Alabama Crimson Tide right here on your home for Alabama basketball.
Listen to Alabama basketball all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Over 60 years ago, our founding father taught us the value of being dedicated to long-term customer satisfaction in every transaction we do, sales, parts, and service. Bobby White here for Woody Anderson Ford, thanking you for your loyalty for over 60 years, and we promise to keep working hard to earn your business every day. Just so happens that for 46 of those 60 years, our F-150 has been the best-selling truck in America. And now is a great time to drive one. We've got over 100 F-150s to choose from, and financing as low as 2.9% for up to 5 years on 2022 F-150s. With your good credit through Ford Motor Credit, offer ends February 28th. Or if a nearly new Ford fits you better, trade in and trade up to a Ford Gold Certified or Blue Certified pre-owned car, truck, SUV, or crossover. Great warranties, 24-hour roadside assistance, and you'll take them home with a full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. Woody Anderson Ford celebrating over 60 years of service to Huntsville, and we look forward to serving you.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on at advancedlifeclinic.com.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you, and welcome back into the program. Let's go to Johnny on his cell real fast, right out of the gates. Good morning, Johnny.
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
So historically speaking, the committee, when the time comes for seeding the big dance, if you're one of the top couple of seeds, I don't think they really care so much about, or they haven't seemed to care so much about the conference tournament once you put the hay in the barn for a conference title. I mean,
they've kind of shown that, yes.
Yeah, I mean, so I would say that if Bama comes in, and I think it'd be more important for them to roll through the last two, knock off Auburn, knock off A&M, win their first round, win their first matchup, and then I don't really think they need to care too much about the others. Get rested and get ready for the big dance. That would be, what I would prefer to see that bunch do, because I think the top two overall seeds actually do get a preference or a preferential treatment where they get to play their first round, and in that case, if Bama remains in the top two seeds, then they should be able to play their first two rounds in Birmingham.
No, they will, yeah. And the other day when Joe Lunardi came out with his bracket, Alabama still the overall number one seed, according to Joe Lunardi, and in Birmingham, along with Houston. Houston, the number two seed, according to Joe Lunardi. They would also be playing in Birmingham, but they would be on the opposite ends of the bracket. They wouldn't face each other there in Birmingham.
Because the way they schedule these things now, they could be playing a West game in Birmingham.
Well, that's the Midwest, The South.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying they can put them all. You're not necessarily bracketed. Birmingham is no longer bracketed to the South.
Right.
They can put whoever they want to put there.
I know, it's crazy. I've never understood how you can have that, because they have it listed as Alabama's in the South region, and they would go to the Louisville Regional. Houston is in the Midwest region, playing in Birmingham, but would go to the Kansas City Regional.
Yeah. So the last thing I said, I'm just overwhelmed with the amount of people who care about this shooting when there are thousands of shootings like this on a daily basis, and they don't give a rat's butt about them. So, I mean,
it's definitely not publicized. I understand what you're saying.
I mean, if you've got a platform and you want to judge, jury someone, why don't you judge and jury the person that pulled the trigger?
Who they've arrested, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, if they really care about black-on-black violence, they really care about gun violence, use their platform to talk about gun control. Use their platform to talk about educating the children of our nation about the value of human life, not any life, not just their, use your platform to demand those kind of things. Don't use your platform to beat up a kid who, by all accounts, is a better brother, better son, better human being, and a better person than he is a basketball player. And yes, the optics from the other night are not acceptable. And that's on Oates to not know that. I am not down. I mean, I know the kid's doing it all year long.
Yeah, they should have changed that.
MMA pat down,
I agree. That should have been changed, yeah.
But
no
other
doubt.
than that, Brandon Miller is widely known by people who know him as a nicer human being than he is a basketball player.
Yeah, but it's interesting, though, and I did make this point, Johnny, and I don't know if you heard it or not, but they've done it since the shooting, and it's so interesting that nothing was said until they find out Brandon Miller was a witness, and now all of a sudden it's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, for real. I mean, and let's just take the cape off of Miller for a second. If Brandon Miller is just a normal college freshman kid,
exactly,
who is just riding to the scene. And he, because one of his friends says, "Hey, I feel like I'm being threatened," and then all he's doing is getting his friends back. I mean, look, and no one would say anything about that because I mean it happens all the time, unfortunately, in America. Mm-hmm. But because he is a rising superstar, they decide that the media, Joseph Goodman in particular, thinks that he knows more than the authorities, and that and that Brandon Miller should not even be on the team or playing anymore for Alabama. And I think that's a crock.
Well, you notice that Joseph barely mentioned Jaden Bradley either. Why isn't he saying Bradley shouldn't be playing?
And Bradley's actually a witness, and Miller was gone before the shooting occurred.
Right. I mean, he was. I know.
Like I said. Now, I will say that I have noticed in some places there are people who are now beginning to read the whole story and be a little more fair in their assessment of the situation. But for people who in the clickbait media, that's they still, even ESPN the other night, for the third straight time, they put the same graphic on the screen.
Oh, I know.
They don't think, and I'm like, okay, you don't think there's any more information that's come out or come to light, or you don't think there's anybody like about 5 to 10 different attorneys have come out and said, yeah, there's nothing that the state could charge him for. There's nothing that he was there for. You know, you don't think that nobody wants to go out there and say stuff like that to make a definitive statement of truth? Because truth doesn't really matter in social media marketing, anymore. Because all that matters is clickbait. And they are well into it.
And Johnny, before you go, I wanted to say this too. Somebody brought this up, Scott, and I thought it was very interesting because with what Jay Bilas said on game day on Saturday. Remember when all the clickbaiters were the judge, jury, and executioners, or whatever you want to talk about it, or judge, jury, and just condemning the lacrosse team, at Duke, and what really ended up happening. Right. And they were basically condemning all those lacrosse players for what they thought they had done. And that's not what happened, and the DA completely botched it. In that case, again, let everything play itself out instead of trying to get clicks like so many of these jokers are trying to do.
All right, Johnny, thanks for the phone call there as well. And we're just about done with our number one here on Talking Ball, and eventually this will subside, you would think. But you wonder going into the NCAA tournament, ESPN has had their moment to bring it up several times. College game day, the South Carolina game, the Arkansas game. Once we get into the SEC tournament and everything else, it shifts to then you get to the NCAA tournament. CBS will have it. What will they do when they have Alabama on? How will they choose to present it? I mean, it's something that you hope doesn't continue, because at some point it does kind of have to stop, you would think. Just about done with hour number one. When we come back, Travis Reier will join the program. Not only was basketball in action on the weekend, softball, baseball, all kinds of stuff being played, and Travis Reier will set that down for us. And Alabama has a new coach coming in as well on the football side. Linebackers coach, right, to replace Brendan Armstrong, who left to go to Florida.
Yeah, Austin Armstrong went to Florida.
Austin, my bad, yeah.
Yeah, he's left to be the defensive coordinator. We kind of talked about that last week. And then on Friday after our show, after we were off the air, the report started coming out. And, he was a staffer that had worked his way up on Hugh Freeze's coaching staff. He'd been an analyst and was about to be the linebackers coach under Jamie Chadwell, and Robert Bala is now going to be coming to Alabama. It looks like to coach inside linebackers, so very interesting. That he's going to be the new linebackers coach. He's very young in his career, but he's going to be the inside backers coach according to all the reports. And we started getting strong buzz about that on Friday afternoon. Had the name by Friday night, and then the report started breaking on Saturday. So interesting with Nick Saban and his coaching staff that they still haven't hired a safeties guy. We'll see if T-Rob's going to take over the whole secondary.
Travis Reier will help us fill all of that in and more when we return. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. The best way to start betting smarter is to sign up for a free VSiN subscription at vsin.com/subscribe.
Second half of the NBA season in full swing. The Celtics currently the plus 130 favorite to win the Eastern Conference. The Bucks at plus 190. Then the Sixers at plus 425. In the West, the Suns at plus 235, followed by the Nuggets at plus 340 and the Clippers at plus 475. Boston the plus 325 favorite to win it all. Milwaukee at plus 550. College basketball, two ranked teams in action tonight, both in the Big 12. Ninth-ranked Baylor, a 1.5-point favorite on the road against Oklahoma State, 142.5 the total. 23rd-ranked Iowa State -4 at home against West Virginia, the total at 134.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
KZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond with you in Alabama. We closed hour number one by going over some new staff changes for Alabama on the defensive side of the football. But in hour one, we recapped Alabama's win over Arkansas, Auburn's setback on the road at Kentucky, UAH's big win over Valdosta State, Auburn kicking off spring football. Those are everything that we got through in hour number one plus phone calls. Now we're going to dissect that the Alabama win over Arkansas a little bit more. Some baseball for the Tide, some softball for the Tide, and dig into some football coaching news.
Yeah, no doubt. And who better than to talk Alabama athletics, whose weekly visit with us, the senior analyst since 2003 for AbamaOnline.com. Also the SEC Second Helping podcast and Talkin' Tide with Chase Goodbrother of the Tuscaloosa News, and that's Travis Fryer. Travis, how you doing this morning?
Great. How are you guys?
We're doing good. I guess, first of all, basketball is at the top of the heap. In Alabama now will be playing for an SEC regular season title. Still definitely in the heavy mix for a 1 seed for the first time in school history against Auburn on Wednesday. Thought it was probably the most high-level game Alabama's had. No disrespect to Mississippi State, but just watching that game, Nick Smith Jr. at Arkansas now, but a really good win for Alabama to be able to prove they don't have to make threes to get a W.
Yeah, it was 9-point halftime deficit, and to be able to come out and have a 180 offensively, really, from that first half to the second half, and give Arkansas a lot of credit. Team, as you said, with Smith available, and this team playing with a high level of confidence in the last week or two, it carried over certainly to Saturday's game, and really took everything Alabama had to close that game out. It wasn't the prettiest of closes for Nate Oates' team, but they got it done, and points in the paint, obviously, a big part of that, especially in the second half, with Alabama able to get to the rim more and made just 3 threes in the game, still score 86 points. That tells you about the versatility and the all-around offensive ability of this team.
Well, usually in the past couple years, when we get to this point, we're always saying, well, we hope free throws don't come back and haunt this Alabama team. Saturday, boy, they were rock solid from that free throw line.
They were, and that was obviously huge, being able to get there 30 times and make 25 of those, shoot 80+% from the line, and had to make it up in some other areas with the threes not going down, and points in the paint, free throws, and a better job defensively in the second half, too, I thought. Not that they were poor in the first half, but they did enough on the defensive end and on the glass to be able to close out the Razorbacks.
Yeah, they did, and then we've seen with this, the team has gotten even deeper, Travis, when you look at how Nick Pringle has moved up kind of the depth chart, inside. He didn't play a ton of minutes on Saturday, but I thought his production was really good when he was in there. And then Dom Welch, a guy that got hurt. It really kind of set him back, but he was only on the floor for about 7 minutes, but good production out of both those guys.
Yeah, they were just 7 minutes apiece, and they combined for 14 points. It was a struggle of sorts for guys like Rylan Griffin and Amari Burnett. They've both gone a couple of games now without a make from three. So, to get some of that production from Welch at the guard position, and then, Nick continues to do really good things. Is one of the first guys in. When you talk about the post positions, and what you like about Nick Pringle is it doesn't seem to take him long to get acclimated to the action. He comes in and is pretty much a force one way or the other immediately. So his ascent here late in the season's been a real positive, and similar with Welch, because you kind of grow accustomed to guys like Griffin and Quinterly and Burnett giving you something from the perimeter, and that hasn't been the case of as much the last few games. So, to get what they got out of Welch in a kind of a condensed rotation by Nate's standards, when you think about it. But, they feel great about their second group still, I think. And for Javon to go for 16 points off the bench, that was something that they needed, and good to see after he'd been through a little bit of a desert from a production standpoint. But he really picked them up with Jaden Bradley only playing 7 minutes in the game to get 16 points, 7 assists from JQ. That was obviously huge.
When you get into postseason play, or you get this late in the season, your offense will carry you, but your defense is what's going to win you ball games. If you're Alabama, you have to be happy with the second half effort there, allowing Arkansas to just shoot 42% from the field. But I know Arkansas is the first SEC team to score over 70, but defensively in the second half, you have to like the adjustments Alabama made.
Yeah, they did enough. It was more of an offensive second half, but Alabama seemed to have an answer for all of it there in the final 20 minutes and scoring 58 points after the break. And I think, Drew hit on it earlier, high-level basketball. I mean, that was as close to professional basketball as you'll probably get in that second half from really both teams. And, you look at it from a standpoint of turnovers for Alabama, that helped too. In the second half, cleaning up some of those issues that they certainly had in the first half with 10 first-half turnovers, and to be able to, sort of stem that in the second half was obviously important. And, they only made 3 threes in the game, but, got good ball distribution, I thought, played connected basketball in the second half on both ends, more so on offense, and, finished the game with 13 assists. When you only make 3 threes, that's a pretty good number, because a lot of times your assist numbers, certainly in college basketball, are tied into your makes from 3, and Alabama just goes 3 of 22 from beyond the arc. So it was, I thought also intangibly it showed a lot about this team, because 9-point halftime deficit at home, that isn't something that this team has experienced much, if at all, this season, especially on its home court. But I think that's also where it got some much-needed lift there in the second half, being able to draw on that home crowd and push itself past a really talented Arkansas team.
Well, and also as a team, being able to close it out at the free throw line. And then Brandon Miller, he didn't get it cooking from 3 like he did certainly at South Carolina, but he still gets to the free throw line. He still gets to the rim and ends up with 24.
He does. You're right. It wasn't his best game from 3, but the one consistency with Brandon seems to be he can get to the line and then he converts when he gets there. Perfect 7 of 7. Still gives you 6 rebounds, and kind of like the rest of the Alabama team there in the second half, once they made that decision, became more committed in getting into the paint and getting to the rim. The offense seemed to flow from there, and in some ways similar to the first go-around with Arkansas. Difficult first half offensively, and then once they got it going in the second half, extremely difficult to slow down.
Mm-hmm. And so, Travis, what's at stake for Alabama in the next week? I mean, what are your thoughts going into Nashville?
Well, yeah, there's this sort of sense of relief, and I'm sure Nate's battling that a little bit now with the Texas A&M loss at Mississippi State. There's already a share of the SEC title for this team, but absolutely on your home floor Wednesday night against your rival in Auburn, you want to go ahead and close out that outright take of the league crown. So, and still from a seeding perspective, you're playing for that where the NCAA tournament is concerned. And so even if you win Wednesday night, there's still work to be done when you're going to College Station, and I think that could benefit Nate and this team. And even if they do wrap up that outright claim to the SEC title on Wednesday night, he's still able to preach that, big picture wise, we still got a lot of things to accomplish, and even in the SEC tournament. So you're playing for the bigger picture, and typically for a program like Alabama, that's just clinching or trying to solidify an at-large bid in the NCAA tournament. This is a different animal entirely when you talk about the potential for a 1 seed or even a number 1 overall seed.
Mm-hmm. So basketball having to work a little extra there in the second half to get a win over Arkansas. Baseball yesterday having to work a little extra to get a comeback 10-6 win over High Point.
Yeah, on Saturday. That was a big time. I mean, Travis, I don't know that I've seen a Bohannon team fall behind 6-0 and come back and win as impressively as they did.
And they have that ability offensively. They have that sort of capability. Thomas, obviously, with the big 3-run homer on Saturday, and they get it from some other guys continuously, it seems like, as well. They're built more that way offensively, it seems like, this year with Pinckney and Williamson, and again, Thomas, Jarvis, Seidel. You can kind of go through that lineup, feel pretty good about where they're at the plate. So I agree. It was kind of a disappointment. You wanted to see how they would respond to the West Coast trip and, taking on a program like Pepperdine out there. But, to kind of pivot so quickly and bring in High Point, take care of business, and off to this 8-0 start. And really, from a schedule perspective, I think there's always the possibility to drop a game here or there in the non-con, even in the midweek situations that you have. But it's looking more and more like, from a schedule perspective, that it's not really going to be until that SEC opening weekend with Florida and Gainesville that we find out some more about this team.
Yeah.
Columbia coming to Tuscaloosa in a couple weekends. UIC is up next. You've got some midweek games with Jacksonville State, Samford, Alabama State, South Al on the road on March 14th. But when you get into mid-March and you get into that SEC schedule with, Florida, Kentucky, go to Arkansas, Mississippi State, obviously that's when you really find out more about yourself.
But they didn't issue a walk. I mean, you're still learning, but the pitching staff yesterday doesn't even issue a walk yesterday. Yeah. I mean, those are all good signs, though.
Absolutely. And when you're in college baseball, I think that's where it all starts. Can you prevent the free passes? That seems to be where you see elevated numbers at the college level with pitching staffs. And so I think they feel pretty good about their weekend trio at this point. I think, like every other program, there's depth to be taken into consideration, although they pitched it pretty good throughout. And so, absolutely, to keep the base on balls to a limited number, and defensively to play at a decent level. And they're fielding it at about 975 through 8 games, so that's not bad. That's going to be the key for them, because, again, I think offensively, as long as they stay healthy, they're going to have a chance to stay in most of these games.
Yeah, and then, Travis, just to switch gears to softball, ranked number 7 in the country coming out of the week. They did drop one to Kennesaw State at the Bama Bash. They're 11-3 right now. Also lost the opener to Lehigh. Did lose a high-level game to UCLA 5-3. What do we make early of this Patrick Murphy team? To me, though, my biggest question is, do they have a true number 2?
Well, I think that's the biggest of all questions for this team is pitching depth beyond Montana Phelps, because it's been a bit of a struggle from that standpoint. And, I think depth just offensively, too, you're going to continue to wonder about, although Kinley Cahalan has just been a revelation. Even if you expected her to be really, really good, to do this as a reclassifier has been just exciting to watch for her. And, you feel like Allie Shipman, Ashley Prange, Bailey Dowling at some point will get it going on a more consistent basis. Jenna Johnson is a player that you expect to perform at a high level offensively. It hadn't really happened yet. Those are the names you're going to be concerned with offensively. But, yeah, pitching depth. And then defense, too, has been a little bit more of an issue of late. But it starts with Montana. And I just think that when you look at what they have right now from a depth perspective, pitching-wise, you kind of felt like going into the season there was going to be even more on her this year than there's been in some previous years. I mean, there's been some previous years when you still had Kilfoyle and you still had a couple other pitchers that you felt like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you could almost set it up like a baseball rotation. But that's not the case this year, I don't think. It's going to have to be Montana in these 3-game series when you get into SEC play, Friday and Sunday, and then, you're going to have to hope you get a quality start maybe on Saturday, and maybe she can even close. So I think all 3 days of these SEC series is, probably when you're going to have to see Montana contribute in the circle.
And then finally, Robert Bala coming in to coach inside backers. Interesting, Austin Armstrong not in Tuscaloosa long, and then they hire a young coach from Liberty.
They do. Interesting hire. I like it because I always pull for the coaches who have taken the roads less traveled, and I think with Bala, you can definitely say that from the junior college level to the NIA level to a couple of years ago working at the FCS level, and now he's at Alabama. So another guy that's youngish anyway, and jumps into the frying pan, but he inherits a nice situation in terms of returning personnel. Obviously, Jalen Moody, Henry To'oto'o move on, but a building block to work with, and Deontay Lawson, and then some talented young players. They've hit the portal, as we know. They've gone the junior college route. So, this is a guy from a recruiting perspective because he has that JC background. He's from the state of California. I think previously at Liberty he had worked some of the South, including Northeast Florida. This is a guy from literally coast to coast. He's kind of accumulated some experience on the recruiting trail.
He really has. Well, great stuff, Travis. We appreciate the time in the segment as always. Let everybody know how to connect with BamaOnline.com.
Just go to BamaOnline.com or Alabama.247sports.com. Either way will get you to us.
Thanks, Travis.
Thanks, Travis.
Thanks, guys.
Let's get that break in. 256-576-4977. Join the show after the break.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Our last reported accident came out of Morgan County. Taylor, Circle, and Ironman Road may still be working to get it clear, but it did report as a no injury. They reported injuries on Maston Lake east of Jordan, but they ended up canceling Himsey there. Capshaw east of Menifee had a state trooper on the scene there trying to clear that one. Popeye's famous chicken sandwich is only $4.99. Crispy tender chicken on a delicious toasted brioche bun. Love that chicken from Popeye's. University and Jordan, 72 and Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
At Bryant Bank, we believe your goals are worth chasing, and every step along the way is worth celebrating. From your hopes for the future to the challenges that keep you up at night, we're here for you. Bryant Bankers put care into action to help you live legendary by stepping up when you need us most and doing what's right even when no one is watching. Come experience a local bank whose people greet you by name and treat you like family. Bryant Bank, member FDIC.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed precision overhead garage door service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision overhead garage door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision overhead garage door service. Call 256-400-4500.
Gunner's Landing is one of the Tennessee Valley's finest golf experiences. Just 35 minutes from downtown Huntsville, Gunner's Landing's 18-hole championship Jewel is open to the public 7 days a week. Located in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, Gunner's Landing offers you a golf experience like no other. With beautiful Lake Gunnersville views throughout the round, Gunner's Landing is golf the way nature intended. Gunner's Landing's club repair shop offers a full range of services, including re-gripping and adjusting the lofts and lies of your clubs, even putters. Since the work is done in-house, your clubs will be returned to you in a timely manner. Unmatched in the North Alabama area, it is Gunner's Landing. Schedule your tee time today at gunnerslandinggolf.com. That's gunnerslandinggolf.com.
All right, welcome back. There it is, Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you on a Monday morning. Welcome back into the program. 256-576-4977. That is how you can be a part of the show on a Monday. A lot of stuff we have gotten to, a lot of stuff we still have to get to because Florida State is causing some turbulent waters in the ACC right now. And there is plenty of attention on what Florida State did on Friday that has got a lot of people going, huh. But let's get to the phone lines first. Bama Bino with us. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, guys. Great show.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, I liked your caller. Who was that right before the break? Was that Johnny?
Yeah, Johnny on a cell. Yes, sir.
He got a little sense. He mentioned Joseph Goodman and some of this woke media. He was kind of kind about it. I'll just call him out. I think he knows the answer to his question. The woke media doesn't want to change the narrative and show the difference between conservative areas that has 28 deaths versus Chicago or somewhere that has 800 and something. But and they don't want to change the narrative. And as far as Joseph Goodman, he's kind of in the fine bomb camp. He's anybody's dog that'll hunt as long as it fits the liberal narrative. But we see what the Alabama consumers think of the AL.com papers. They're no longer going to print an edition, and all of their papers, including, I think, Mobile, Huntsville, Birmingham, and the Times-Picayune.
Yeah,
is
you're right.
.com's papers.
Yeah.
And we don't buy woke in Alabama. We know woke when we see it, and we don't buy propaganda. And I doubt very many people go online to read it. So they're in a sense they're neutralized, and that's good riddance, Joseph Goodman. That's all I've got to say about that. And what gives me comfort about Alabama is, they've had distractions, and yet without the three, they can still win with depth when they're not playing well. If you think if we can hit a middle stride on the three during the tournament, it looks like we'd go a long way.
Yeah, I mean, I think this Alabama team can go a long way. I think they're a special group. I think they've got a lot of mental toughness. With all this flying around them, they've played really good basketball. That second half against Arkansas, taking Arkansas's best shot and then coming back and winning that game the way they did, and the way they were able to get through the South Carolina game, I think it shows a lot for them. It's going to be interesting to see how they play this week.
Yeah. How do you think Plainview's going to do? They play Sumter Central, don't they?
I think they're going to win it all.
You think so? That's good.
Yep.
I kind of think Robbie Coker's a college coach in a high school uniform.
He's one of the best in the state. There's no doubt about that.
That's what I think. Anyway, guys, keep up the good work, and God bless y'all.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bama Bino. All right, let's stay on the phone lines. Pat from Tuscaloosa with us. Good morning, Pat.
What's up, Pat?
Good morning, fellas. You two being basketball aficionados, I want to know what is Coach Nate going to have to do in order to get against teams like Tennessee and things that contested everything we did, from getting the ball into the three-point shot. What can we do to fix this issue?
Well, personally, I just think you just got to run your offense at a high level.
You do, and you have to do what they did against Arkansas. You have to continue to drive the ball.
Yeah.
You have to come back at them with physicality. And then, as Travis Ryer said, you got to get to the line and convert. And that's what they did. They converted at a very high rate. They shot 83% against Arkansas. And sometimes you have to manufacture points, Pat, and that's what they did. They had 52 points in the paint against Arkansas, and they got to the free throw line. And that's what you have to do when the threes aren't falling, because there's going to be games where they don't,
right.
And you have to keep attacking, and you got to rebound. And they out-rebounded Arkansas severely. They out-rebounded them 48-37. So you've got to, and they got a ton of offensive rebounds. I believe they got 14 offensive rebounds in the game,
and a lot of those were in the second half.
Yeah,
they stepped up the rebounding edge in the second half. And coaches will always tell you it's not about what the other team is running defensively. It's about what, and Coach Schulman tells us this all the time, it's about what you run offensively. Can you run it better than what they're running their defense? And Alabama has shown the ability to run the offense at a high level, whether it be into the paint or getting the open looks for three. Teams aren't giving Alabama those looks from the three. Alabama's creating those
and
looks.
I will say this, playing A&M the last game of the regular season on the road is a good thing in my opinion, because they're a team like Tennessee, they're a team like Houston. They're going to contest everything.
Right.
And Buzz's team does a great job on the defensive end of the floor.
Okay. Y'all don't think we need to get a stronger, bigger guy to inbound the ball?
Well, I mean, I know people have talked about the inbounds issue, but I mean, you can work on things like that. Certainly, I mean, I personally, I would have a guard inbound it. That's just me. I would have a Jaden Bradley or, and I'm talking about one of the bigger guards, even a Ryland Griffin, because Mark Sears is a little on the smaller side. Yeah, I would even have Javon Quinterly inbound it. But again, and then almost one of those things where you inbound it and get it back really quickly. But again, I know they've had some trouble with that, but I thought they were a little bit better against Arkansas.
Yeah, they were. And it was a fun game to be at.
It was.
And it was, really, really special to watch it. I had a really, really cute Arkansas girl sitting down in front of me. Mm-hmm. She was giving us hell, calling the Hogs in the first half. My seats are like 14 rows up, and she was sitting down in front of us, and wow, it was hard dealing in that first half.
Yeah.
But the second half was a lot of fun. She was sitting down, looking at her phone, trying to figure out what happened.
Good story there, Pat. Thanks, Pat. Appreciate you.
All right.
Pat from Tuscaloosa there. All right, so we had that over the weekend, and I'm trying to think, we do need to make sure, though, and I'm sure I saw the news. I know you saw the news. Spring training going on for baseball right now. Our good friend Brewer Hicklin facing some tough times right now.
Saw that message on Facebook, man.
Yeah, he's in the big league camp for the Kansas City Royals, but he's going to be sidelined 8 weeks with an elbow issue. We hope and we pray for him that it's nothing serious, and that
it doesn't
he
sound
can
like
get
as serious
back.
as it could have been.
Right.
Just reading his message.
All right. We got to get a break in.
Get well
when we
soon,
come back, we're going to talk some high school basketball, but we have still got a lot of news that we have got to try to get to in just 30 minutes. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Monday, a wind advisory is in effect. It'll stay in effect until 6 o'clock this evening. We'll see a few scattered showers, mainly in the morning. A mostly cloudy start to the day, gradually becoming sunny by the afternoon. High temperatures expected to top out in the mid-70s. Heading into your Monday night, a few isolated showers possible before midnight. A mostly clear sky. Low temperatures expected to fall into the mid and upper 40s. We could see wind gusts as high as 40 miles per hour. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
We should be back to a clean slate now. Had several wrecks, Taylor Circle and Ironman in Morgan County, Maston Lake east of Jordan, and Capshaw east of Menifee. Both of those, or all of those, really should be pretty well cleared up now. Expert heart care backed by advanced technology. If you need cardiac care, you need the Heart Doctor. Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace Avenue. Captain Nick in the North Parkway, Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Flow Trampoline Park is your one-stop fun spot for your next birthday party. Whether you're a boy, girl, kid, or adult, Flow has you covered. Party packages allow up to 25 plus guests, so you'll be able to bring all of your friends. And with all the fun competition to be had at Flow, maybe enemies too. Party packages will give you access to 60 minutes of jump time, grip socks for all guests, a private party room, and a party coordinator. Flow is behind South Parkway and Drake, behind Cracker Barrel. For more information, go to flowhuntsville.com. Get jumping with Flow.
You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. And in 28 minutes, I'm sure the clock is running, but in 28 minutes, the Alabama High School Athletic Association basketball championships get underway inside the BJCC.
1A girls.
Yeah, Elba and Marion County will be up first at 9 a.m., and then at noon, you get Lochapoka and Spring Garden. Now, the Valley's first quest, I guess you could say, to get a team into the championship game comes at 1:30, and that is Oakwood Academy, and 1A boys will take on Otaugaville. They are 26-8 is Oakwood Academy, 21-6 is Otaugaville, and we all know the story last year about Oakwood Academy. We went through it on this show, but they are in the Final Four. And they are one win away from getting in the school's first ever state championship game. The berth to the Final Four is a first for the school. Covenant Christian will take on Florala today in the other boys' game, Spring Garden, Lochapoka. Then Mars Hill is going to do a double dip today in Class 2A, girls and boys. That'll be at 3 and 4:30. Then Sandrock at 7:30. So
we're greedy here.
We are.
I'd like to see Covenant Christian, the defending 1A boys champs, playing Oakwood. That would be a battle of North Alabama. That would be very nice to see. Spring Garden is outstanding. I'd like, if it was Spring Garden in Marion County, that'd be nice. And then Mars Hill, I know they have an outstanding 7th grader who's going to be a really special player for them. And I want to say this is the first time for them to make it since like 05. So it's been a while since Mars Hill has been to the Final Four. Now, we know Cold Springs. They're very, very good.
Yeah,
under
that
Tammy
group.
West. I mean,
Yeah.
they're always good.
Yeah.
It would be nice to see Mars Hill and Cold Springs playing each other, and then Mars Hill and Sandrock in the 2A game.
And Sandrock is not afraid to put up some points.
Oh, no.
They
they're
play
very
that
impressive.
they play that Sand Mountain style of basketball where
they definitely aren't afraid to shoot the rock.
Yeah, they run it. I mean, when teams, and it's the most overused motto I think in sports right now, is all gas, no brakes. I think it's the most overused term in high school basketball, but they really do. They really like to play fast and shoot the basketball.
Speaking about burning gas, this guy's all over the state of Alabama. He was in Starkville on Saturday watching his alma mater beat Texas A&M on the hard floor, then went to the Dudy Noble Field to see a baseball win. Now is on the way to be there all week to be on the radio airwaves and WOTM television to bring us coverage of the Final 48. And that is Bart Heisch, as good as there is when it comes to high school basketball, and he's with us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Good morning, Bart.
Drew, sorry, man. I think I might have tried to call me, but you know how it is to get through 19th Street security. It can be a roller coaster, my friend.
No doubt. Hey, this is one of the best weeks of the year. You're always there, front and center. We were just talking about the 1A and the 2A starting today. There's no one that knows Marion County better than you. But as far as girls play goes, but Spring Garden coming in, got to be considered the favorite in 1A girls, and Covenant Christian defending 1A champion. But Oakwood Academy, we're very interested to see how they react now that they've made their first trip to the 1A boys Final Four.
Absolutely. And I think that the girls this morning will be very intriguing. Elba's big that Marion County's playing. I didn't realize how physically imposing they are when you walk in as a 1A team. So Marion County will have their hands full. But Scott Bill's been here.
Oh yeah.
And
yes,
he's kind of like the Izzo of girls high school basketball in the state of Alabama. He always has his team ready, and he knows the formula to get here. And they replaced everybody. I mean, they starting a freshman, they're starting 2 sophomores, they're starting a junior, and then they got, of course, Portia Lipsey back, who's, in my opinion, the best defender in the state. And if they move on, which I feel like they can, we'll see how good of a defender she is when she plays generational player Ace Austin from Spring Garden, because if you hadn't seen her play, man, they call her the Phenom, and there is a reason why. That's probably the biggest gap in any of the classifications between teams and maybe one player, is just the fact that she's already got Power 5 offers as a sophomore playing 1A, man. That's high level. So and Covenant's boys trying to repeat. You mentioned Oakwood. How do they react?
Yeah, hadn't been there before, right?
Well, that's what we were saying a year ago. Oakwood Academy was in the headlines,
they were in the
not
Sweet
for
16,
basketball, but for things that prevented them from playing. Now they're actually there in the Final Four, and it's good to see them get back there. But now they got their hands full.
They do have their hands full. Covenant has been there. I'm not sure this Covenant team. It's not the same as last year's team.
No.
There's a couple of new pieces, but for Covenant, they've got a state championship winning coach, great staff, and they guard people. That's what I noticed. I've seen them on film, and they really get down and guard. Haven't seen Oakwood as much this year, but look, man, it's tournament time. The ball's going to bounce a certain way, and kids sometimes just walk into moments. That's why all this is so great. Who are those kids going to be? We'll see throughout the week.
Well, I'll just let you know. I saw Oakwood for Huntsville's first game, and they're very athletic. They've got a big kid, so they'll definitely be able to compete athletically. You're right. It's about how ready to play are they mentally, and I think they've got a shot. And then we just had a caller from Sand Mountain call in. He asked my opinion on Plainview and Robbie Coker. I said they're going to win it all, but that's assuming that I think they're going to be playing. They're on a collision course with Midfield again. They've had several battles, whether it be in the regionals or in the state championship game. Are we looking at 3A being Midfield and Plainview in the boys' side?
I think so. I think Plainview would definitely be a favorite in their semifinal game, and also moving into the finals. It's just you're used to seeing the Bears there now. And this is a special group to Robbie Coker. This is the first young group, that fifth grade group. I think it was fourth or fifth when he got there and when he got the job. Guys like Luke Smith, who the stash can just play, man, and just goes out and gets buckets, plays 3 or 4 positions. Actually reminds me of a player that I played with in high school named Chad Murray. A lot of people might remember the state tournament, who could just do a whole lot of things well. With Jonah Williams, great shooter, Dylan Heyman, point guard. Big Landon's been playing well inside. He's got pieces and he's got pedigree. I'm not sure this midfield team is as strong as some in the past, but Plainview's just been rolling, throughout the whole course of the year. We had Robbie on the pregame show the other night, and he loves this team, but he wants to finish this one. And I think you always, as a coach, probably find new reasons, different reasons. But he said this is one family. The other 3, they were a family as well individually, but we got to go take care of what this family has to take care of so we can continue on this legacy of Plainview basketball.
We talked about phenoms on the girls' side in 1A, but in Class 4A, New Hope bringing in Kaylee Yarborough, and, we're talking that's a special phenom right there.
Man, it's like our friend Corey Labounty always says, she's Baskin-Robbins, man. She'll give it to you in a bunch of different flavors. She can score it from deep. That's her best thing. But she creates like her step backs and that type thing. She's always on balance. And I really like Jada, the little point guard, Jada Bates. I think they're a good complement to each other. But this may not sit well with a lot of people in that area. But, y'all, I picked Priceville to come out of that regional. I picked them to beat Good Hope or Deschler. And I think Priceville, there's one reason. That whole 4A is so dynamic.
Oh, yeah.
Because everybody expected New Hope. Okay, now you're back here, right? They didn't make shots last year when they were here the way that they needed to collectively as a team, and they got dominated on the boards. Well, now all of a sudden, Prattville Christian's there as well. Priceville's there. But the reason I like Priceville, they're fundamental. They know their roles. They've got a couple of the same type players on the perimeter. But Priceville and Coach Nelson's team have bigs. That freshman that comes off the bench for them, if y'all haven't seen her, she is a load. And so they have 2 6'2" interior players that I think can compete with Prattville Christian or New Hope. So I'm anxious to see how that 4A turns out. But, again, you see so many times, guys, New Hope was here last year, right? Mm-hmm. How do those big lights affect? Scottville, that's about to play both of his teams that won it, they had to get there first and lose before they could get over the hump. Same with Skyline. So it's going to be a very dynamic week, man, and I'm really looking forward to it. Being on the call.
And I'll be honest with you too. I'm looking forward to the 4A boys because ever since the Huntsville City Classic, when I saw them both play, I've been thinking Westminster and Jacksonville could be on a collision course. Again, they played in the Sweet 16 last year. Jacksonville won. They went on to win the state championship. I could easily see a rematch here, even though Deschler almost put a fly in the ointment and pushed Westminster to the brink.
Agreed. Chase McCarty's the real deal. That's the first time I'd really seen him play, and they've got pieces around him. It's Ronnie. It's Ronnie Stapler. But I think that's definitely one to where that game is the one everybody's expecting to see. I haven't seen a lot out of the 4As down south, but anytime you see Ronnie Stapler in a Final Four, right? I mean, you've got to think that, okay, this team's going to be prepared. Who's he going to have to go against? Well, it's pedigree now. Jacksonville's been there. They've won it. Obviously not without Cade Phillips. It's a lot different. But at the same time, they've got talent that I saw a couple of those Jacksonville kids, including Broom, at Supreme Courts this summer. And they won that 3-on-3 tournament with Dennis Scott's son, Alex Odom.
Right.
All these different players. And, they want that challenge. What was it Rudy T said? Never underestimate the heart of a champion. Well, we'll get to see this weekend at 4A boys.
Well, we certainly will, no doubt.
In 6A girls, though, is Tim Miller and Hazel Green. They've obviously have to be a huge favorite to win another state championship. Does McGill, Tulane, Hillcrest, Huffman, do they have what it takes to slow them down?
Well, here's the thing. There's not a Samaya Steele, guys.
Right.
And y'all know how much I love Samaya. And sorry, I got a truck backing up. I'm going to try to walk the other way. Samaya was just something special. My favorite point guard to watch in probably the last 10, 15 years, just because of her understanding of the play of the game of basketball. Hazel Grade has had some injuries, guys. They've had a couple of people out that are not going to be back. They're a little bit more vulnerable than they have been. But there's one thing that every player does that comes in the game for Tim Miller. They know they have to guard in the half court, and I think that's what you're really going to see. Is I think you'll really see them just really lock down in the half court a little differently, and that will be a priority. And so, yeah, I think you got to like Hazel Green. Huffman's been beating people, though. Huffman's really been beating people and having people had a hard time scoring. But, yes, I do think there's just too much firepower, Tim Miller.
Well, and one more team I've got to ask you about before we let you go, too, is we're rooting for him hard because we were the home for Buckhorn basketball. But just in his storied career, it's the first time he's gotten to the Final Four. Buckhorn going to take on Philip Murphy's McGill-Tillon team that's been a fixture there. And, they could be on a collision with Mountain Brook. I know Paul Bryan will have something to say about that. But Buckhorn, and I really like their shot in 6A, man. They came out of a really difficult regional over there at Wallace. They beat a really good Coleman team, and then they got through, as we understand, Pinson Valley.
Well, you hear the term generational player occasionally with young kids, and that's what we've been hearing about Caleb, for a while now. And I don't think I saw him this summer. You play so many games in the summer. It's not really. Can you really get a fit? Well, now it's time to play. And now they're guard. Now everything's going through, And I was surprised. I have to be very honest. I was surprised at the Pinson. I thought Pinson's guards were collectively as good as any team we've seen in quite a while when you talk about three different guys.
Right.
But you know what? I mean, you're here now, and this one's wide open. Mountain Brook's formula for winning games, pedigree of being here. Mountain Brook won it that year after Bucky McMillan F, which was a huge deal for the program. Now, if you could get back and somehow sneak in, and it's kind of you've restored order in 6A, if you will. But I don't know. It's kind of like you remember Josh Langford. A lot of people in the area remember when he came. I know it's different. I know it's not 3A, but that may be what we're starting to see out of Buckhorn. This could be the first of many runs for a generational type player in Catapult.
Well, it's going to be great stuff, man. We look forward to your coverage. I know you're going to do aren't you going to be on both the radio and TV end? Or are you going to be doing both this week?
Well, so now, I don't know if y'all saw the football, how they did the little booth.
Yeah, I know you're going to do some pregame stuff on TV too. Yeah, pre and post. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to go prep and see. I think we're going to do halftimes or end of games. I don't know how much people are going to want to see my face all day on the TV, but it'll be on APT and WOTM as always. I'm streaming in FHS, and so it's just going to be all TV for me, no radio.
Okay, just TV. Gotcha.
Which is bad. I'm much more of a radio face, but no, man, I'm excited. This thing has grown, and it's just become a tradition in my life, and it's always been special to come back to Birmingham to Legacy. Just get on down here, Drew, man. We got some good basketball to watch.
Oh, yeah, I'll see you this week, brother. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Let's get a break in. When we come back, wrap up the show with your tomorrow's headlines today.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Huntsville Fire and Rescue reporting multiple units on the scene of a structure fire in the 900 block of Park Lane. And we had several accidents earlier. Taylor Circle and Ironman in Morgan County was our last reported accident. It should be about ready to clear. Maston Lake east of Jordan and Capshaw east of Menifee both should be out of the way as well. Snelling needs customer support reps. Northeast Huntsville, $15 an hour. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Eck in the Jordan Lane Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
And now another no-brainer money-saving tip from Progressive.
That doesn't sound good.
Paper shredder's jammed, but I think I fixed it.
Oh, well, try shredding these $50 bills then.
Seems like it's working.
Better try another $400.
Stop. Instead of using money, use regular paper. And here's a better tip from Progressive on how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary.
The college basketball regular season is winding down, and the football specials at Humphrey's Bar and Grill are now going to extend into basketball season with football specials during every Auburn and Alabama basketball games. Don't miss Humphrey's game day specials from $2.75 Miller Lite, Yingling, Coors Light pints, $3.50 Yellowhammer Gold pints. Anytime Auburn or Alabama is on the screen, Humphrey's, always a party, never a cover. Located online at humphreysdowntown.com.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Over 60 years ago, our founding father taught us the value of being dedicated to long-term customer satisfaction in every transaction we do, sales, parts, and service. Bobby White here for Woody Anderson Ford, thanking you for your loyalty for over 60 years, and we promise to keep working hard to earn your business every day. Just so happens that for 46 of those 60 years, our F-150 has been the best-selling truck in America. And now is a great time to drive one. We've got over 100 F-150s to choose from, and financing as low as 2.9% for up to 5 years on 2022 F-150s. With your good credit through Ford Motor Credit, offer ends February 28th. Or if a nearly new Ford fits you better, trade in and trade up to a Ford Gold Certified or Blue Certified pre-owned car, truck, SUV, or crossover. Great warranties, 24-hour roadside assistance, and you'll take them home with a full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. Woody Anderson Ford celebrating over 60 years of service to Huntsville, and we look forward to serving you.
It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hi, welcome back. Talking ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And we're talking some high school basketball there before the break. Some other ones, though, that we need to pay attention to. Scottsboro boys in Class 5A.
Jason Bell.
Arab girls in 5A.
Second time ever.
They're through. The Buckhorn boys will be going in 6A.
Yeah, we talked about that with Bart. And then also another one that we kind of failed to mention, but there's so many of them we're trying to track.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Is the Clements Lady Colts. They put out Lauderdale County, and they got back in 3A. I saw Coach Clint Legg over there, the principal, and Susan Moore as well, the Fighting Ryan Fowlers. Susan Moore Bulldogs and the Clements Colts.
Sparkman are only 7A team to make it on the girls' side. They will play.
They beat Hewitt Trustville.
Yep, Thursday at noon.
That's right.
All right, so some of the big other headlines that are going on, NFL-wise, the Combine getting ready to start. And earlier this morning it was released that Bryce Young will not throw at the Combine. He will go and attend and do interviews, but he will not throw. C.J. Stroud will throw. Anthony Richardson will throw and run through drills and as they show off his measurables. But Bryce Young, he will throw during Alabama's Pro Day, but will not throw in the NFL Combine. Any concern? I mean, no, not.
I mean,
anything.
a lot of guys are doing that now. They want their own workout with their own receivers, and they want to control it.
Yeah.
And I think his stock is as high as it's going to get. Certainly, C.J. Stroud could rocket up the charts, and Will Levis's agent's putting word out there that he's the next Josh Allen, trying to fool people into drafting him, and maybe he is. I don't know.
Yeah.
But of course, anybody that drafts Anthony Richardson number 1 overall should be fired immediately because he, while he can run a 4.5 40 and throw the ball 75 yards, he couldn't hit. You know, if I was throwing to you in that screen on that computer right there, Scott, I don't know if he'd hit it 5 times.
All right.
That's the best way for me to put it. And that screen's a decent size.
Yeah. It is 13 inches.
I mean, I really don't. He's not accurate, and you can't really coach that. Okay, and I just don't know how fast he processes from the neck up, and that's quarterback play. It's not about a damn 7-on-7 where you're throwing against air and you run up 4.5 40, and everybody's talking about how strong your arm is. That's not. If it was, then Brock Purdy would not have been the starter for the 49ers.
Yeah. All right, so that is what's going on in the world of the NFL. I mentioned Florida State trying to turn.
Mentioned that, yeah.
Yeah, so Mike Alford, the Florida State athletic director, went in front of his board the other day on Friday and basically flat out said, hey, look, the ACC is falling behind in the Big Ten and the SEC when it comes to revenue sharing.
Right.
So much so that I want to say it's around $50 million difference between the two.
I think they made a big deal about how many the ACC network and the ACC teams are only making $30-some million.
Yeah, he's not happy. Yeah. Did discuss buyout, what it would cost Florida State to leave the ACC.
Yeah.
And, well, I mean, that is going to be an astronomical fee. $120 million, plus they're bound by the grant of rights through 2036, which means they would not get any revenue from any other conference till 2036. So Clemson and Florida State are saying, hey, look, something's got to get done because we are getting left behind in the world of money.
But I don't think either one of them wants the SEC smoke because they'd both be down the totem pole, and even Clemson.
Well, they'd be down the totem pole.
I love Dabo Swinney, and they'd be making a lot more money.
There you go.
But they'd be taking a lot more ass whippings, too. Just telling you.
Just like some of them national media boys should be taking now, right?
Exactly.
And Tom.
You can't fix stupid.
And the Czar.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to put the Czar in with all of them, but I'll just say this. The XFL's got another weekend coming up. Just talk about that.
All right. They played yesterday.
Yeah, they did. Who?
Did you know that Valley Equipment Rental also specializes in day and weekend rentals to homeowners? The weekend rentals is by far the best deal that they offer. If you pick up after 2 on a Friday or anytime Saturday morning, it's not due in until Monday morning before 8 a.m. for a one-day charge. For a small fee, Valley can even haul anything they carry. Valley has extremely experienced and knowledgeable staff that can help you decide what size machine you need or what type of machine you need to get your job done like a pro. They have all the big items that the contractors need for their jobs, but they also
exactly what I do and what I am.
And I know the attorneys